Hello and welcome. We are here with Julie Brixie, newly elected state representative for representing Meridian Township, East Lansing. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back here in the HOMTV studios.
I'm happy to have you. It's different to have you come back because you were just here in the building, every day, and now you have a new position. And might I add, the last time that a female held this position for state representative in this area, 69th district, was Gretchen Wortmer in 2004, and there were two other females from the township board who ran for office. Virginia White, she was former township clerk for 25 years. She was a Republican who ran for this seat and did not get elected. And then the other female who ran for this position was Susan McGillicuddy, and she's former township supervisor. She was also a Republican. So congratulations on being the first female township board member elected to state rep.
Thank you very much. It's been a very humbling and gratifying experience.
And you've already made a couple of announcements. You have a bill that you're leading and heading up, a dark stores bill. And you also, and I have to look at my notes because I need to make sure I get this right, you are the House Democratic Vice Campaign Chair.
I am. It's really giving me a lot of pleasure this morning. I'm going to introduce my very first bill. And, as a former treasurer of local government for 10 years and a board member of local government for 18 years, it really gives me great satisfaction to be able to introduce a bill to end the dark store unfair tax loophole that's been going on. So this is my first piece of legislation, and it's going to be a true bipartisan package. Representative Lefebvre from the Upper Peninsula it has introduced already a companion bill to this one and graciously allowed me to sign on to the package and break it into two parts. So pretty exciting, and really happy to be continuing to help serve the residents of Meridian Township, in addition to East Lansing, Williamstown Township, and Locke Township.
Now explain the tax loophole a little bit for us.
Sure. The big box stores hired some kind of fancy corporate attorneys, and they went to the tax tribunal, and when Governor Snyder got elected, he appointed some folks to the tax tribunal who had, in their practice, conducted tax tribunal appeals on behalf of businesses and corporations. And so this was the mentality of the tax tribunal makeup that was appointed by Governor Snyder. And so when the attorneys went in and made their appeals, they said, hey, why don't you allow us to use as a comparable real estate value shuttered big box stores in the assessment process. So we have, for example, here in Meridian Township, Meijer, one of the busiest Meijers in the entire state of Michigan. And in their comparison of comparable real estate, they used shuttered stores as a comp. Of course, it's not a fair comparison because it's a closed dark store. But not only that, worse than that, the reason so many of those stores don't ever sell or are reused again is because when Walmart leaves a community, they don't want Target to go in, they don't want Kmart to go in, they don't want Meijer to go in, they don't want any of their competitors to go into their store that they built, that they're abandoning the town with. And so they put a deed restriction on that property saying that it can't be used for anything like that. So they are essentially creating blight in communities and then using that terrible thing that they've done to have an unfair tax advantage as compared to a mom and pop brick and mortar shop that doesn't have a big box and that doesn't have the square footage, and probably more importantly doesn't have the fancy corporate attorneys that are helping them. So I'm happy to be part of ending this predatory practice that makes your tax bill higher and my tax bill higher, because in a local community, if your big boxes pay less property tax on your school debt, that means everyone else who is left pays more. So this is something that really is hurtful to all taxing entities like schools, governments, transportation systems, library systems, and the like. So really happy to see this moving forward.
I know blight was one of the issues, when you served on the township board as well as environmental issues and contamination in the Lansing area, in the Meridian Township area, in downtown Okemos. Will environmental issues be something that you're looking at continuing to protect and that sort of thing as state rep?
Absolutely, absolutely. And my background, my master's degree in soil chemistry and environmental toxicology, and my work experience conducting investigations and cleanups for an environmental consulting firm really give me the technical understanding of some of the serious issues that the state is facing. This PFAS contamination that we have all over the state is really a very big health threat, public health threat. And not only that, but it's also having a really negative impact on our fisheries and our hunting, because not only are these PFAS compounds bad for people, but they're bad for our wildlife as well. And they're impacting the state's hunting and fishing, which impacts tourism, which is a really huge driver of our economy. And also hunting and fishing licenses are some of the ways that the state pays for environmental protection and cleanup. So these are real serious things, and I'm delighted to see that the governor is also has these issues in the forefront. And I'm confident that we're going to be able to address the PFAS contamination in this 100th legislature.
All right. Now, also, when you were a board member, you played a large role in resolving pension issue that was at Meridian Township. And this is a statewide issue. It's not just within the township borders here, but this is a statewide issue. Do you think your role that you played while serving for the Meridian Township residents, do you think you'll be able to carry that over into your newly elected position and assist other communities or work with other state legislators on solving that problem elsewhere?
I certainly would be happy to offer my assistance. This is an area that a lot of folks are, when you talk about unfunded pension liability and OPEB or other post-employment benefit liability and reform, people's eyes tend to glaze over and they can't really focus on it or pay attention to it. But
I feel like when we first started talking about it here, there was a little bit of a learning curve. I mean, probably a lot, especially with staff who doesn't deal with that on a normal basis.
There's a pretty steep learning curve to it, and I have offered my assistance. We don't have our committee assignments yet, so I don't know yet as of today what committees I will be assigned to, but I certainly would be happy to help in any capacity. And when I have the opportunity to sit down and chat with the governor, I'll talk to her about some ideas that I have from our positive experience here in Meridian Township to assist other local communities throughout the state in grappling with this serious problem. Because I think over the next 5 years, we're really going to see unfunded pension liabilities come to a head in many, many local communities, counties, different types of entities across the state as they grapple with the problem.
Okay, aside from the dark stores bill today, what are your other maybe top 3 priorities or that you would look forward to working to resolve some kind of issue this year?
Well, I would be. I was delighted to see that the governor has done some things to protect members of the LGBTQIA community. So that's something that would be really high on my list because it's easy. It doesn't take a lot of work. It's just a few words added to the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act to offer protections to an entire class of people here in Michigan that do not have protection from unfair discrimination. So that would be something that would be really high on my list of things to work on. Not sure if we have the votes yet. I'm not sure if the makeup of the legislature is such that we'll be able to accomplish that, but the governor and the attorney general have both already taken steps to address it through alternative means. The governor issued a directive that impacts every state employee. There are a huge number of state employees, and the attorney general will be issuing opinions as to definitions in the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act that I think will offer a tremendous amount of protections, better than what we had on December 31st.
And it seems like the social opinion in general has changed over time.
Absolutely.
More
Absolutely.
inclusive, not what it used to be in the 80s or the 70s or the 50s,
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's a really high priority, not just for me, but for many of the people here in the 69th district. So that would be one thing. Then, another thing would be reproductive rights would be something that I would hope that we could make some ground on, or continue, at least not lose any ground. That's another pretty important issue. Of course, the elephant in the room is we've got to fix the damn roads.
Yep.
So I'm eager to see what steps we take to do that. Some of these issues, like Elliott Larson and gun control, I know that gun control is a really hot button issue here in the district for folks, and I don't think we have the votes that it takes to make meaningful change in that area yet. And so the first part of our talk today, you mentioned that I've been appointed as Vice Campaign Chair of the Democratic House Caucus. And in that role, I'm already working to get these objectives taken care of and put into place, because as we look to 2020, getting a majority in the House and getting a majority in the Senate, if possible, will bring about the meaningful change that we have been talking about and that so many of our people have been desiring over the past few years. So already working on that, really looking forward to being part of the House campaign team and working hard to elect like-minded individuals like myself to be able to put forth the Democratic agenda that really puts a priority on everyday hardworking people here in the state of Michigan, to give them the tools they need to succeed, to work on education. We've cut education, I think, has been cut by $5 billion during the Snyder administration. And we aren't getting anywhere as a state when we do not invest in our future. And our children are really our future.
Okay, how can someone, if they have an issue, if they want to talk to you about something, how can they get a hold of you now?
So they can contact me in a variety of ways. Of course, I have my website, juliebrixie.com. I'm on Twitter, Julie Brixie. I'm on Facebook, Julie Brixie. I'm on the Michigan House website. I'm on the State of Michigan website. They can contact my office. We have staff answering the phones there, and they can email me at Brixie at Oh gosh, I don't know my own email. That's terrible. I have to look at my card.
It's
how
okay.
much of a newbie I am.
You know what? I Googled you this morning and all of that stuff came
Maybe
up.
you guys
so
could
it's pretty easy.
put the little header on the bottom of my banner when you do it, what my website and phone number is. I'll get that information for you to put up, and that would be helpful.
What's the transition been like? From township treasurer to moving out, moving in. You now have a new lapel pin. You don't have the Meridian Township one anymore. You now have state government.
It's been very busy, and I have a lot of boxes of things still in my office at home. But it's been a really wonderful experience, and I have so many terrific people that helped get me here and that are helping me through the transition. I have a phenomenal staff. One of our board members, Trustee Opsimer, is my chief of staff and was also my campaign manager, and has just a wealth of experience having worked in the House for a number of years. And so I have a fantastic team. I also, to transition, my other full-time staffer, Rachel, was working in Representative Singh's office. She was an intern from MSU, and she was working on constituent relations. And so we hired her full-time, and so we have some continuity in the office, and Rachel has been tremendously helpful. And, you know, I have fortunately been in a great position to just hit the ground running. And, you know, one of the other side benefits I realized of this district is that a lot of the stakeholders in the stake, with Lansing being the capital city, you know, of course, they live in the region, and so many of the different stakeholders actually reside in the 69th district that it turns out that I knew a lot of these people because they were, you know, friends or neighbors or constituents. And so the, you know, the number of people that you meet and that you're working with in your capacity as a representative with the different stakeholder groups, that part's been a little bit easier for me because I do live here, and it's easier for me to get time with these people and understand the issues, the great variety of issues that people have, you know, whether it be corn growers or milk producers or the Moms Demand Action group. You know, it's nice to be so close to the Capitol to be able to listen to the different constituents and stakeholders that are out there that want to help educate me on the different issues, on the many issues that are before us.
Any other topics or that you'd like to share or talk about, or anything else you'd like to say?
I'm just really excited to be participating in this. You know, it's really kind of a historic moment. I think Michigan's the only state in the nation that has the top 4 positions are held by women. So we have the governor, the secretary of state, the attorney general, and the chief justice of the Michigan Supreme Court are all women. And, you know, as a woman who's been an elected official for 18 years, it's really it's really just, I can't even articulate the feeling that I have inside that there are so many of us, and that we're in a position where we can work hard and get all the work done. And it's really happy to have so many of us. But at the same time, all this excitement, at the same time, there's only 34% of the legislature is female. So we still really have a long way to go, even though it feels really good, and it feels
percentage is higher than it was before.
It is. Then when you look at the totality of it, we've still got quite a long way to go, but things are changing, and that's good. And women lead differently, and I really look forward to working with these strong, powerful, super talented women, such as Governor Whitmer, Attorney General Nessel, and Secretary of State Benson. In addition to that, my own leader of my caucus, Minority Leader Christine Gregg. It's just really, it's a great time to be in this position, and I'm really excited to work hard for the people of the 69th District.
Well, we look forward to having you on again, doing some more interviews in the future, and we thank you for coming out this morning, especially the morning of the day that you're introducing your first bill. So we really appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. Happy to be here, and we'll be happy to come back.
And I want to thank you for watching. This has been an interview with Julie Brixie, newly elected State Representative, 69th District.